Hey, it's the Fish Guy. I'm excited because I'm here at Corvius Group, an incredible, innovative company that has done some amazing things over the last several years. And I'm here with John Pacern's executive assistant, Kara, who we wanted to chat with about the aquarium and the experience that you've had in having an aquarium in this office. And maybe I can take the aquarium experience back to the previous building that Corvius was in. Had an aquarium in John's office and reached out to us to have it relocated here. And this aquarium behind us is now the third generation of having an aquarium in John's office. Given that, why do you think it's so important to John to maintain an aquarium all these years and continue to upgrade it in his space?
So I think having a fish tank in John's office has been really important to him because it makes him feel at home. There's something about the flow of the water, the fish swimming in the water, that makes him feel more calm. We've had a conversation about how having fish in the office is really important to him now, and I don't think he could see having his office without having a fish tank there.
That's really interesting. We always say that aquariums move people in amazing ways, and I like how you explain that. It's really, for John, a calming effect, something that really helps him. I mean, this company's grown in tremendous ways and scaled over the years, which I imagine comes with just a little bit of stress. So having a place to, in your office to really be able to relax and take it all in and charge forward and accomplish the things that you have done. I would say at least half of the growth of Corvius is due to this fish tank, right?
Sure. I think when John has downtime, which is few and far between, he sits here and it helps to center him, having the tank behind him or in front of him, actually. And I do believe that he actually flipped his desk a little bit so that he could actually watch the fish while he's working.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What do you think people that visit John outside of the company, when they come in, what do they say about this office?
I think it's the first thing that they see when they walk in and notice and actually gravitate towards when they walk into the office. This tank has, as you know, had a huge transformation over the last 6 months, and I really think it's just changed the whole feel of his office. Having the fish before was great, but the feel and the look of the tank has really changed just how people view his office. I think it's more inviting. I think people have something to really look at. They gravitate toward it, like I said, and go over and look at the coral and the flow of the tank, and the fish are just amazing too.
That's interesting. So on that point, Kara, when the office renovation, when you guys were starting to think about what would happen, some of the interests that John had with the way his office renovation would take place, there was a thought of reusing the original aquarium that was in the space, and while everything else was getting renovated, the aquarium was fine. After all, it wasn't actually that old. And that didn't happen. We ended up truly designing a new aquarium, completely new design, new casework and millwork. How do you feel about making that decision compared to the original thought of not replacing it and just reutilizing or maybe even painting the old one?
So when talking through with John what was most important to him in the office, he said for sure it was the tank. And viewing the designs that our designer came up with, it just felt like the tank was complacent, almost as if it was just this huge piece of wood that was in the middle of the room.
Yeah.
So we felt that there needed to be more flow to it, and making the tank bigger, the curved glass was really just something that I think John had to have after we talked through options with you. And a few of the options that you had sent over, there was something similar, and he saw the curved glass and he just fell in love with it and felt like there was flow to it. So yeah, I definitely think this is now more of what needed to be in this office.
So we are in John's office, so not necessarily all the team members here at Corvius come into the space, but for the ones that do, and you and some of the other team members here are in this office on a regular basis, do you come in just to sneak peeks at the aquarium? Like,
Yeah,
what is word on the street at Corvius about this aquarium?
It's a little different, I think, for me and for my colleague Susan, who really takes care of the tank, because we're always looking at the health of the tank. Are the fish okay? Can we find all the fish? Or is everybody looking good? But others that come in to see the tank really, just like I said, gravitate towards it and actually ask to come in and see it, because it's really just the piece that people are talking about in the office.
That's really exciting. So at Something Fishy, we really believe in simplicity in aquarium ownership. So being able to have an aquarium that looks like the aquarium looks behind us. How simple has it been for Corvius to own an aquarium, and why?
It's been very simple. I think, your office does a really good job of keeping on top of any needs that we have, or if there's any issues, really just working with us on how to fix those as quickly as we need to. The office communication has been great. We always have someone to get in touch with. So I feel like the ease of it's a really good relationship. We work really well together.
Awesome. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
So the tank looks awesome behind us, nice and clean. Was this staged for the video, or does it look like this all the time?
No, it does look like this for the most part every day, yeah.
That's awesome, and that's really important. I think when you look at our maintenance program, it's very proactive instead of reactive. So making sure that the tank always looks show ready, all the time, camera ready, if you will.
Sure.
Not just when the camera's on, but all the time, so that that it's really enjoyable for the environment and minimal work. Tell me about feeding the fish. Is that a chore or an excitement?
For Susan, it's an exciting part of her day. She actually talks to the fish. They gravitate towards her when she comes in, so she has names for all of them.
That's great.
But yeah, I think one thing to mention is that it's really easy. It's very straightforward. Having the once a week maintenance done by your crew has really kept the life of the tank in just great health for us. So
awesome. And do you have a favorite fish, Kara?
I do. Some people call it the mandarin, some people call it the goby, but he's my fave. He's been with us. We were told at the beginning that he wouldn't last very long. There was hesitation about putting him in the tank, and he's been with us, I want to say 2 years now.
That's great.
He's actually my favorite. I love the way he's actually right behind you.
He's really cool. He's hanging out watching the video. So he is actually a mandarin goby.
Yeah,
so
okay.
So if you hear either name is acceptable, and he is definitely an incredible fish. One of the things you can see with him is, one, he's very active and out quite a bit, which mandarins tend to hide a lot.
Yeah.
Not this guy. He wants to be part of the show. He's also, you can just see how thick, I hate to use the word fat, but he's a very healthy mandarin.
He is.
Really cool, along with all of the other fish as well. So what would you have to say to somebody that was thinking about putting an aquarium in their office environment that wasn't quite sure if it was worth the investment? What would you say that to them about if they were considering it?
I definitely think it's worth the investment. I think it just changes the whole feel of, especially this office. For personal offices, I think we have a tank downstairs on the second floor, and I think people actually go to look for that tank and see what's going on, see if there's new fish in there, if we've changed any of the coral in there. So I definitely think that it's worth the investment.
That's really exciting to hear. Yeah, we really want to make sure that we're sharing the energy and influence with as many people as possible, and we're excited that we're able to do that here at Corvius, both for John and your team as a whole with the tank downstairs, and anyone that might be able to sneak in here for a peek at this tank. That's really makes it rewarding for us, and why we're so passionate about our work is when we see whether it be kids or in this case a lot of adults coming in and being wowed. That is how we know that we're doing our job right, and we expect to exceed our customers' expectations, not just meet them. And I hope we're doing that here for you, and in the projects that we have behind us. A lot of work went into this that you don't see too during the design aspects, just like your interior designers and decorators as well, particularly in the way the corals are placed and the type of fish that go into the tank. This coral structure, as natural as it looks, was actually fabricated by our team members that designed it so that structurally it would support the corals. And a lot of these corals were in John's previous tank, and really important to him to make sure that they were reutilized and brought back, because they were part of the family here. So anyways, I really appreciate all the support over the years that you've given us and hanging out with us today for this video. Thank you so much for all that you do. I really appreciate it, Kara.
Yeah, thank you.
You're the best.